Tuesday morning, I was making coffee. My phone buzzed. Notification, activity from a contact. I almost swiped it away. Then I saw the name. Sarah has been dead for 6 years. I stood there for a while, just holding the phone. The notification was still there, white card, little route map, her profile photo, the one she used when she was alive. I tapped it. The activity loaded. A 5.2-kilometer run, logged at 6:14 a.m. 2 days before I'm filming this. GPS route, elevation data, and a heart rate graph, sitting right there in the app. Resting average of 71 BPM at the start, peak of 143 at the halfway point. The kind of data that requires a chest strap or a wrist sensor pressed against living skin. Sarah died in March 2019. I put my coffee down. I didn't drink it. I went and sat at my desk and I opened the account properly on my laptop where I could see everything. There were 6 of them, 6 runs logged after her death. The first one appeared in August 2021, then a gap, then 4 more spread across 2023 and 2024, and this one 2 days ago. I keep looking at that heart rate graph. I keep thinking about what has to be true for that number to exist. My first instinct was someone else is using the account. That's the rational place to start. Shared device, family member, someone who inherited her phone and didn't realize the app was still logged in. I've seen that before. It's a thing that happens. People don't always think to wipe a device. So I went looking for the obvious answer first. I found her sister's contact in my phone. We'd met twice, at Sarah's birthday and then at the service. I sent a message explaining what I'd found, kept it short, asked whether anyone in the family had been using the account or had access to the device she used for running. While I was waiting, I pulled the death certificate. I'd kept a copy, Sarah, and I had been close enough that I'd helped with some of the administrative stuff in the weeks after. The date is there. March 14, 2019, clear as anything. Her sister replied 40 minutes later. No, the account was locked after Sarah died. Nobody had the password. They'd contacted at the time to ask about memorializing the account or taking it down and had told them they'd need official documentation to access it. The family had decided not to pursue it. They hadn't thought about it in years. I asked if there was any chance someone had a secondary device, a spare phone, anything that might still be syncing. She said no. Sarah ran with one watch. It was in a box in the spare room. She hadn't touched it. I was still on that call, still typing, when I got the second notification. Another run, same account, 4.8 kilometers, logged while I was sitting at my desk, actively looking at the feed. I watched the activity appear in real time, the GPS line drawing itself across the map. I took a screenshot. I didn't know what else to do. The route was in the same neighborhood where Sarah died. I exported all 6 routes as GPX files, dropped them into a mapping tool, the kind you'd use for trail planning, overlaid them on top of each other. They were almost identical, not close, almost identical. Each one a small loop, roughly 4.8 to 5.4 kilometers. The variation was the kind of thing you get from GPS drift, a few meters here and there. The path itself was the same every time. I zoomed in. The loop centered on a single intersection, a 4-way on a residential street about 3 miles from where Sarah used to live. A street I recognized. I had to check it twice before I was sure I was reading it right. That intersection is where she was hit. I sat with that for a while, I'm not sure how long. Then I drove there. I went in the morning around the time the runs were being logged, between 6 and 7 a.m. I parked and I walked the route, the whole loop. It took me about 35 minutes at a walking pace. I looked at everything. Nobody was running, a few people walking dogs, one woman pushing a stroller. I stood at the intersection for a while, just stood there. The light changed 3 times, I watched it. Nothing. I went home. I opened my laptop, was still up in one of my tabs. The account had followed 3 new people while I was out. I recognized all 3 names immediately. They're people I know. 2 from work, 1 from the running club. I used to go to the same running club where I met Sarah. The account had followed them, and all 3 had automatically followed back, because that's how the app works when mutual follows are already in place. Sarah had known all 3 of them years ago. I don't know what to do with that. I keep trying to find the version of events where that's a coincidence. I contacted support the next morning. I want to be precise about what I told them because I was careful. I didn't frame it as a ghost story. I framed it as a data integrity issue. I said I'd received activity notifications from an account belonging to a deceased individual, and I wanted to understand whether the account had been compromised or whether there was a technical explanation for the activity. The response took about 18 hours. They confirmed the account was active and in good standing. No unauthorized access flags, no security alerts. The activity data was legitimate, meaning it had been uploaded through normal channels from a device authenticated to the account. They suggested I contact the account holder directly if I had concerns. I read that sentence 3 times. I called Sarah's sister again. I read her the response. She was quiet for a long time, then she said she was going to try to find the watch. She'd call me back. She hasn't called back yet. That was yesterday. I also found the DM. I don't know when I missed it the first time. Maybe I wasn't looking at the messages tab. Maybe I just scrolled past it. But it was there, sent 4 days ago, 1 message. Good morning. That's all it said. I didn't reply. I don't know what I would have said. I just stared at it. And then I checked again this morning. The message thread had changed. There's a small indicator that shows when a message has been opened. It wasn't there before. It's there now. The message is marked as read from her side of the thread. The last run was logged at 6:08 a.m. today. I was awake when the notification came in. I've been awake for most of the past 2 nights. The route is the same loop, same intersection. 5.1 kilometers this time. Heart rate peaked at 138. I don't have an explanation. I want to be honest about that. I tried very hard to find one. I still think there's probably a version of this that makes sense, a technical answer I'm not qualified to understand, some edge case in how the app handles synced data, something. I want that to be true. But says the account is legitimate. The family says no one has access. The GPS routes all center on the same point, and the message was read this morning from her side of the conversation. I keep coming back to one thing. Sarah was a morning runner, 6 a.m., 6 days a week, regardless of weather. She talked about it like it was the only part of the day that was really hers. The intersection where she died, she crossed it every single morning for 4 years before the accident. It was part of her route. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it means anything. I just know the app logged a run at 6:08 this morning. And I haven't replied to the message. I'm not sure I should.